Hey, are you thinking about moving to St. Thomas, Ontario, and you want to know all there is to know about St. Thomas, about the location, where it sits, how far it is to different amenities, airports, healthcare, the population size, what's going to mean for traffic for you if you live there? Well, stick around because today we're going to be taking a little tour through the map, and so you can see all of this for yourself on a map of Ontario in proximity to London and other spaces. And we're going to get after that right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. If you're looking for a place to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good, and yes, the bad about St. Thomas, Ontario, London, Ontario, and Southwestern Ontario, well, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon for notifications so you'll be the first to know about the market here in the London and St. Thomas area. My name is Dania Parker Smith, and I get calls and emails every day from people just like you who are looking for help in making their move to the London and St. Thomas areas. It doesn't matter to me if you're moving in 3 weeks or 3 months. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and my team and I can help make a smooth relocation for you and your family to the area. All right, well, let's get right into it today. Today we are talking about St. Thomas. Like I said, we're going to take a little walk through my map, the Google map, and show you what the proximity is to different spaces and what that means for you if you were buying in the town of St. Thomas or around there, what the traffic looks like for commuting, how far it is to different amenities. We're going to do that, and we're just going to go jump into my computer right now. See, we have a map of Ontario. We see Southwestern Ontario, and right here in the middle of the map we can see London here. So London is the major center in this part of the province. So outside Kitchener and Cambridge and Waterloo and Guelph, this Tri-City area, this is another larger center that we have outside of Toronto. Then we have Hamilton that sits over here, and Toronto, which is the largest city in Ontario and in Canada. All right, so we have London here, but where is St. Thomas, and what does that mean for us? Well, St. Thomas is probably the most popular place for people that live around London to stay and own a home outside of the city. It's about 40,000 people, and it sits right here just over halfway between London and Port Stanley. So Port Stanley is a small community on the shorelines of Lake Erie. So we have Lake Erie here. Lake Erie is one of the Great Lakes. It's actually the shallowest of the Great Lakes. And St. Thomas is about 15-minute drive from Port Stanley and about 25 minutes to downtown London. Very easy to get into London. If you work in London and you live in St. Thomas, you can just jump on any of the main roads these little white roads that you see in here, and then hop to the 401, get off whatever exit that you need to that's closest to where you work. Now, if you lived in North London, it might be a little more challenging because the traffic can be quite heavy through this part of the city, and to get over, there's no real easy way to get over to the north end. So people that live on the north end have a difficult time, or more difficult time, or it takes them longer to get onto the 401 in London than it does from the south and the east ends. But St. Thomas is so close to the 401, you just head on up, and there's not a lot of traffic because the community is smaller, and you're not going to find much traffic until you hit the 401. Okay, let's just bring this in. If you wanted to fly out of Toronto because you were taking a major flight, well, all you'd want to do is head on up to the 401, whatever road you decided to take, probably Highbury, and head on up to the 401. Take the 401 all the way up through Kitchener, Cambridge area, over through Milton and into Mississauga, where you have the International Airport for Toronto. Knowing that this area right here, as you see, and if you watch any of my other videos, I'm going to tell you that that this portion of the 401 highway is literally the busiest highway in North America. There is multiple lanes, and they're always working to expand this. So there's always lots of construction and road work that's going on. So you want to make sure that you leave yourself plenty of time, especially if you are leaving in the middle of the day when you might be running into morning traffic or afternoon traffic, knowing that if there was some sort of an accident on the highway, you could be delayed for a significant amount of time. So you do want to make sure you leave that space. If you wanted to take any other flights while from St. Thomas, you literally can take back roads over to Hamilton, or you can still head up over to the 401, go up through Brantford on the 403 and over to Hamilton, which has a great airport that's just slightly bigger than London's. It has a few more gates than London has. It only has one terminal. London only has one terminal. There's a great place to park. You park your car. It's just easy to get to the airport. You're not having to shuttle anywhere. And often the flights, where depending on where you're going, and if it's in Canada, can be cheaper than out of Toronto. So you just really want to make sure that you shop around. Now, the other places you can go, there's an airport in East London. So if you are going to London to fly out of the airport, easy that you can get to there, because St. Thomas comes out the back here, and you can literally come up through, see this Belmont right here, it's just another little small community, up through here and jump on to Veterans Memorial and head on over to the airport, which is right here on the northeast end of the city. So very easy. You can avoid so much of the traffic by going that way. And London's airport is an international airport. It has a lot of connecting flights within Canada, in the US, and even has points where you can go down south directly from London. And it's an easy flight. If you had to connect into Toronto, it's literally like up and down. I don't know, it's like 30 minutes that you're up in the air or something. It's really a short time. So it's an easy flight. Go up and get down. Okay, let's see, where else are we going to go? So St. Thomas, like we said before, is about 40,000 people. And a lot of people work in London that live in St. Thomas, but St. Thomas has so much of its own. It has a lot of agricultural area around. All these are farm type areas that you see in this, where my mouse is over here. Their farm, we have a lot of corn, like feed corn for cows. We have soybean. There's some wheat. And down over here in this portion of the province, there used to be a lot of tobacco farms, but they've kind of switched out with tobacco and you know, some of the campaigning against smoking and people getting more healthy. Not as many cigarettes, so they're not selling as much tobacco as they used to sell, but you can still see all the old tobacco farms with the dehydrating huts and everything that they have down in those areas. It's quite interesting, actually. But when you actually come down into here, you will find there's now some solar farms. There's a lot of ginseng farms. People have had to get a little bit creative in what type of farming they want to do, because they might not be able to get the money that they used to get from tobacco. But in St. Thomas, we see a lot of agricultural. We see some dairy farms around the area. Over towards Elmer here is a really high Mennonite community. So you do have a Mennonite influence into St. Thomas. But, you know, for the most part, St. Thomas, its own city, has its own bus system, has its own policing system. It's its own city in one. You really don't even have to leave there. It has lots of grocery stores, has a Canadian Tire, has a Walmart, you know, doesn't have a Winners. That's what I keep hearing. We don't have a Winners down there, but it has a theater, has a small mall. It's not big, it's not bustly, no, but and they have some really great restaurants down there that have some great food. So if you were living in St. Thomas, literally you can get anywhere in the city so very quickly. But, you know, the St. Thomas Hospital is over in this southwest portion of the city. So if you're wanting to get from outside of the city into the hospital, you're going to want to know that how long it's going to take you to get from any point over here. But this hospital is a full service hospital. It has an emergency. It has, you know, babies are born there. Everything that you need is in St. Thomas. Often you hear me talk about this elevated park over in here. It's a trestle park that goes over the highway, and you actually can walk across it. There's some metal sculptures and different things that are up on there, and it's just a nice place to go. You can see the traffic underneath from way above. It's kind of interesting. And over here we have the regional airport. Now please note that this airport is more for private planes. It's not generally a place where people go and schedule their flights and fly to Vancouver or Calgary or whatever. It's usually for small, more rural planes that are small prop planes and different things like that. You're not going to see the bigger airlines fly into here or jets. Okay, let's just take another look here. A lot of people that live in these smaller areas like Talbotville and Shedden, I lost my Shedden. they moved from Shedden and Southwold, where they can come in, and St. Thomas is their major center. And as well, because there's a lot of farm communities, the children do bus into the schools in St. Thomas. So we have a great busing system in Ontario where the kids actually are picked up and dropped off at the schools. The bus drivers are dedicated. We have great dedicated bus drivers in our communities who take care of your children, who are safe on the highways. And our buses, I'm not sure if you're not familiar with busing systems. You know, I grew up in British Columbia, in rural British Columbia, and I took a bus all the time. But in Ontario, because sometimes in the fall, the spring, even the winter time, it can be extremely foggy or snowstorms. So one way that they've done to protect the children in the area when they're on those buses, they have lights actually on the bus, the flashing lights on the back. So you can actually see these buses, and it helps to identify them, and then you can stay a safe distance away from them. You can know when they're stopping so that you can stop and make sure the children cross the road properly, everything. Just so that you know, if you have children and you live outside of the cities at all, the busing system here is efficient and it is safe for the kids. One thing to note about St. Thomas is that there's really a lot of things that you can do. We have the St. Thomas Raceway Park. We have down there, and we have the Cadovin Estate Winery. This is a winery that you can go and do taste testing, do tours at. Somewhere around here in Sparta is the lavender farm that you can go and see the fields of lavender. You can get lavender oils and, you know, scents of all sorts there. So just note that there's lots to do in the area. We talked a little bit earlier about the different parks and stuff that there is. If you didn't see my other videos on the pros and cons or the tour of St. Thomas, make sure you go and check those out as well, because they'll be very helpful for you in making a decision about where you want to live. Now, all areas of the city, except for right down in the main area, the older area of downtown in this area, the homes are a little bit older in this area, but there's a real mixture of homes that are, you know, 50, 60 years old, right to the newer homes. But there are some really old homes, because St. Thomas is about 140 years old. So there's homes that are about that age, give or take, depending on how well they were cared for. So, you know, if you want to have a newer home, there's a lot of great spaces to have great locations to have a new home. I'm just going to circle in on some. Now, when we were talking about the areas where, if you saw the vlog tour that I did, I was over in this area of the city right in here, where we were actually looking over here. And we were looking at homes in this area. So there was 50-year-old homes, there was 6-year-old homes, and there was like just a few years old homes, 4 or 5 years old. And so there's a lot of new builds. They have a lot of reputable builders in the area. So you can, Doug Terry, he has a complex of his own, but he's one of the most notable St. Thomas builders. And so he builds a lot of homes in the area, and people love his homes. The average price of a home is going to cost you about $730,000, whereas in London it's going to be about almost $100,000 more than that. So that's one real draw that people have to living in St. Thomas, is the housing prices, because they can get more housing than they can in London. So a lot of our first-time home buyers or families who want to have a larger home and can't afford to buy one, say a newer home in the North End, they actually could go to St. Thomas and get a brand new home. And I suggest, if you haven't seen the vlog tour, that you take a look at that, because I do take a tour around some of the homes. They're so beautiful. They're brand new homes, and some of them are very large and very upscale and on the luxury end. And so it makes it very easy for people who want to have more home for their money. I mean, who doesn't, and don't mind moving outside of the city. Now for traffic, what are you going to see if you're driving into London? What we want to show you is St. Thomas over here, the 401, of course, being very busy through here, especially in the mornings when people are commuting, and in the afternoons. But St. Thomas has ways that we get to scoot around here. A lot of people come up this road here. I think this is Colonel Talbot. And they come up into here and then onto Longwoods Road in Lambeth, and they can head on into the city. They can hit the 401 and jump off onto Wellington Street, Highbury Avenue, Veterans Memorial. It all depends on where they're sitting, but the closer into the city you get, the more traffic that you're going to see. Warncliffe can be quite congested. Wonderland can be very congested in the morning, because it seems to be a major thoroughway through to the North End. So here's Wonderland, and it comes down, and when you get to this area down in here, whoops, sorry, when you get to this area right in here, this area, it can be quite congested coming into the city, because people are coming from St. Thomas in. So in the morning times, more congestion here, and afternoon you're going to see it coming out. Highbury seems to run fairly okay in the mornings, as long as there's no accidents. This is a pain point right here on Highbury. This is a pain point right here, as well as on Oxford Street. These ones can be the points where people are kind of rushing in the morning and not stopping. But I think Dundas is probably the one that it's on a hill, and we see people that aren't paying attention might try and get through a yellow light when maybe they shouldn't, and tragedy happens. But anyways, that can be a pain point over there. Oxford and Commissioners right down here, if you're coming in from, say, even further over, this is a place that actually gets a lot of accidents as well. If you were heading on over through Richmond Street in the morning is really busy if you're coming in this way, but a lot of people avoid it in the morning, but I'm not sure why in the afternoon, and I think it has to do with the university that we have. So this is University Drive through here, and so when you get into if you were working down in the Masonville area, when you hit this little corner right here, this can be a really congested area, because you have all the university traffic coming out, as well as anything from downtown, and so it gets a little bit piled up in this area. Not piled up, but backed up. I wouldn't say piled up. That's probably not the best thing. Anyway, so that is where you can see your traffic the most. But other than that, St. Thomas, of course, smaller communities, their sense of rush hour traffic is a little different than in the city. But if you were working in London and you were living in St. Thomas, those are the places that you would be looking at. Well, that's all that we have for today, guys. If you found value in this video, or you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can give me a text, shoot me an email, give me a call. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions, and my team and I would be happy to get you started on making a smooth relocation to the London area. And if you want to know more about the area, you're not quite settled and there's more to learn, because there's always so much to talk about, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon for notifications so you'll be the first to know when new videos are released. Once again, my name is Danielle Parker-Smith, and it is my utmost pleasure to be of service to you guys in providing this information, and I look forward to serving you in all your real estate needs. See you next time.